practice this idea of factor by grouping, but in the context of solving. So of course, to solve a quadratic, we need to have 0 on one side. So we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. Now we have 10x squared plus 23x minus 5. And some might be tempted here to just use the quadratic formula. I'm going to urge you, and I'm going to grade it, to force you to use factor by grouping, because the more you do something, the better you get at it, and the more you're going to end up liking it, even if it's not your long-term preferred method. Okay, so two numbers that multiply to negative 50 that also add to 23. So negative 1 and 50, negative 2 and 25, and that's my 1. So I'm going to split my 23 into negative 2x plus 25x and keep the rest and figure out my grouping. So if I look at grouping those and these, 10x squared and negative 2x have a negative 2. I guess I could think of it as negative 2 or positive 2. When I think of it as positive 2x in common, leaving me 5x minus 1 plus 25x and negative 5 have in common a 5, leaving me 5x minus 1. So I'm good. I don't need to worry about negatives or anything like that. And so now I can group this and have 2x plus 5 times 5x minus 1 equaling 0. I can use zero product property, but the answers aren't negative 5 and 1 if you're tempted to do that. So let's set each factor equal to 0 and figure out what value of x gives me 0. Subtract 5 from both sides. 2x equals negative 5. Divide both sides by 2, so I get x equals negative 5 halves. Or, on the other one, I get 5x equals 1. Divide by 5, x equals a 1/5. So it's either a fifth or negative 5 halves that gives me the solution to this equation. Check that up. Alright, looking at the next one. 6x squared plus 2x minus 8 equals 0. Now, you could just start factoring, but I like to factor out, right? I notice that 2 goes into all of these. So I'm going to factor out a 2. 3x squared plus x minus 4 equals 0, because that makes my problem a lot easier. Now I'll just divide everything by 2. So my problem is now 3x squared plus x minus 4 equals 0. So my factoring problem becomes much easier. Again, two numbers that multiply to the product of a and c, which is negative 12, that add to b, which is 1. I'm thinking 4 and 3 somehow. So 4, positive 4, negative 3 gives me positive 1. If it was negative 4, positive 3, that'd give me negative 1. So that's my combo. So 3x squared plus 4x minus 3x minus 4 equals 0. And now I'm going to group. And I'm thinking the 3's with the 3's and the 4's with the 4's. Just my gut instinct. You could do it either way. But this, I think, is a little neater, a little cleaner. So, grouping them, this common factor is 3x times x minus 1 plus 4 times x minus 1. So that works out. 3x plus 4 times x minus 1. Now, some of you might say, I didn't see the 3 and the 4 groupings. What if I did it the other way? Let's find out. So what do 3x squared and 4x have in common? Well, they have an x. So this becomes 3x plus 4. What do 3x, negative 3x and negative 4 have in common? Well, negative 1. 3x plus 4. And so that still collects to that. Same thing. So I guess it doesn't matter. I just wanted to see what I saw. So that's what I saw. But if you didn't see it, you'd end up in the same spot. So now 3x plus 4 must equal 0, or x minus 1 equals 0. So in this case, x is 1. Or, if I subtract 4 from both sides, I get 3x equals 4. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 4/3, or x equals 1. And that is the solution. So hopefully as you're practicing factoring by grouping, you're getting a little bit more familiar with it, and you can start to use it to solve these kinds of problems.